She's a beaut, man.
Yeah, she's really, really cool.
She's super hot.
So she is what we'd call a kuro. Kuro is another word for black, right?
Okay.
And or like an old style goshiki. But still, when I say old style, I don't mean like we were talking about that
Back to the
Mogwai.
20s, yeah.
Yeah. So it's a modern, refined version of an older type goshiki.
Still old school.
Yeah, exactly. And that old school is that this gray that we see here is gonna eventually become a really deep, dark black.
Eventually, is she? I would guess she's 3.
She's 4.
Okay.
And I think within the next maybe year or so, we'll start to see that black
Darken up.
Yeah,
But she'll keep that white in her belly.
Most likely, yeah. And right now, it's a really fun time to watch her because you can see these scales here.
Oh, yeah,
and it's like there's
epic.
depth there, right?
Well, this is where the 5 colors starts to reveal itself.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's harder to see on that other delicate one. This is really interesting. Okay, so Kohaku pattern, is this Marutan?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that we have the patch of island on the top red.
Right.
And then it's really interesting because it takes that curve down and that whole gill is completely red and it touches that.
It sure does,
right?
Yeah,
and then the other side's not. So I thought it's a really interesting fish.
It's a really interesting fish, really interesting pattern. And I could get lost and just staring at the scales for hours.
Just in the 2 black bands, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's what's so cool.
Or black, gray, blue bands.
There you go. And that's what's so cool because you see how clean the red is. And, black is susceptible to showing up on red normally. It prefers to grow there because the color looks a lot more, it's easier for black to grow on top of red. And so to see how absent of black it is makes it awesome.
Definitely.
I think when she gets older, because this is Koro Goshiki, she'll have, and you can start to see a little bit of black reticulating the outside, but it's going to be real delicate and refined.
It's super delicate. It's appealing to me, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. It's beautiful.
So her red bands go all the way past the lateral line, which is on this side for sure. Mm-hmm. I love that. Love that little. Yeah, and it looks like really each scale. That's what's neat about on this one side right here. Is those scales are just like took one scale and did it perfect. Yeah. But it's almost attached still.
You can see we've talked about kiwa and sashi in this koi, and usually in goshiki, it looks like you cut out like a red sticker like with an X-Acto knife and then just like placed it on top of this kind of gray.
Exactly my point
black.
that I was saying on that one side, on that red saddle right there. And for the viewers that are just catching maybe this video for the first time, kiwa and sashi, let's talk about that. Kiwa is the lines, right?
Right. So kiwa is going to be the lines that are on the back of the pattern. So on this koi we'll call her a 3-step. On the back of each step pattern. So
on the back side, yeah.
Yeah. So like right here, we're gonna call this
so sharp.
The kiwa.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The lines are super clean. And sashi is when those lines kind of blend a little bit, right? Like airbrush together.
Sashi is going to be on the front here. So sashi's not a really good example to talk about with goshiki because they don't have the same type of kohaku sashi, and that's sort of pink color you see up front. On the front pattern, so it would be here. But here again, it's very cleanly cut. So here we have koro, or like old style. Koro is another word for black. Old style goshiki, and this koi is just an awesome example of that koro goshiki. Again, we start off with that white base, the white bottom of the fish. And then that kohaku pattern. Let's talk a second about the kohaku pattern because it's really unique and really interesting. It has this sort of maruten, and it kind of slides down to the gill plate and just touches there and to develop the next step of the pattern there. It's really, really cool looking. And as I was mentioning, this koi has that sort of fiery ember growing. And so you have this maruten, and as she turns around, you can see it almost kind of looks like flames coming out of the maruten. It's really, really cool. Something you can enjoy about Kuro Goshiki in the development is the scalation of where the black starts and where the black's going to develop, because you can see it's the base is black and then it's kind of this bluish gray color, and each individual scale is just magnificent. You could I literally could just stare at those scales for hours and hours. And that's these scales right here. So it's a really exciting time for the owner to own this koi, as it's in its maturing process right now. So we get to see that sort of black begin to overtake the rest of the body. You see, almost every day you go out there, you'll see the scales kind of change.
She's gorgeous. I love her.
Yeah, she's awesome.
So I love bringing up Goshiki. I know we've talked about Goshiki a couple times. We've brought it up, and I see us bringing, every time October comes around, getting new Goshikis in. We're going to be doing videos to show them off.
Definitely.
I would love to put that new school in with the refined old school.
Absolutely.
Put them together side by side so we can see them up close.
Yeah, let's check it out.
Okay.